Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Chris Horde, PSW, standing for Personal Support Worker, taking care of your elderly in long-term care and community care who suffer from the severe critical disease of Alzheimer's disease. I've been taking care of the elderly for the last 20 years of my life, and I'll be 50 this year, so almost half my life I've been taking care of the elderly with Alzheimer's. I wanted to do a video because about death and dying, because if you've worked in long-term care and community care, it happens. I mean, it's going to happen often because long-term care is that part of the profession, right? I mean, we make people as comfortable as possible until, they take their last breath. So I wanted to make this video to give kind of maybe an education to some people that are out there and are unaware of when your loved one is dying. So I wrote some things down when I was at work, and maybe this information can help you, and maybe help maybe a family member or a friend or someone that that is passing away, and maybe this information can help you in their final days and final hours. This maybe give you a little bit of education. But first, I was saying the signs of death and approaching the helpful responses. And what we know about death is, like, when I wrote it down, is sleeping. The person may spend an increasing more time sleeping, and appear to be uncommunicative or difficulty awake. So, during the process of death, they may be tired and exhausted, and that does happen. They just don't want to get out of bed, and there may be signs of them just sleeping. So how would you help with that situation? And I wrote down is you would sit with your loved one and hold their hand, and spend time with them, spend time with that person, that loved one, and just make sure that you're there as a caregiver. And that's what I do as a caregiver, is belonging to the palliative and hospice care team, is our philosophy is that you don't pass away alone. So you hold their hand and the feeling of touch. So if a person is passing away, some things that the resident or family member or friend may experience is like confusion. They may be confused at times, not sure where they are, and they're not sure to identify people around them, and who's around them, including close friends and family members. Confusion may be due to metabolism changes in the body. Restlessness. They may experience restlessness. It's a very difficult situation in time, and experiencing that restlessness does happen. How do you help? It's try to reframe and don't interfere. They have to kind of go through the process. It may be uncomfortable and painful, just the feeling of touch and holding their hand and making sure that they know that you're there. Coolness, the hands, arms, and feet and legs become increasingly cool to the touch. And the face may be pale, and the feet and legs purple, blue, mottling in color. Mottling is when the blood starts to pool in the body, if you're in an upright position. And how do you help the person? Keep the person warm with blankets, and using enough to keep them comfortable during the process. And incontinence. And incontinence of your bladder and your bowel, it can happen, right? Just keeping an eye on it. Sometimes residents wear a full brief that has an absorbent material that's in it, and for urine, and and if they have to have a bowel movement, using a brief will help on their skin, that you can just change them. Changes in breathing pattern may help. I wrote down, breathing may be irregular, may stop at times, 10 to 30 seconds, it might stop. And, they regain their breath and they start breathing again. So changes in breathing patterns, you might experience a loved one, or, someone that is passing away. I've experienced it many times working in long-term care. With the changes in breathing patterns, of them breathing, sometimes decreased in urine. Like I said before, they may be incontinent, but, they may not be able to be continent and urinate. And, that happens too. I was writing, it's a part of life. It's a part of the profession. And it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about death, because in reality, it's all going to happen to us. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's important that people that go into the field of long-term care and community care and want to get involved in taking care of seniors and elderly, that need to understand that, death is inevitable and it's going to happen. Whether we like it or not. And, it could happen while we're on duty. So it's okay to talk about it. And I've talked about it many years, and talking about the healthcare burnout, which is a real thing. Healthcare burnout is a real thing. And we have to understand on how to, I always talk about in my videos about self-care and giving yourself the care that is needed, because at the end of the day, who is truly taking care of us? Us. Individuals as us as needs, we take care of ourselves, and making sure that, we are taken care of. So as a caregiver, if you're a caregiver, making sure that, maybe, I've given some tips about going for a walk, or, exercise and all that stuff. Maybe, with the signs and, what I wrote down, and hopefully, some of this stuff can help you. I'm sure it goes more and more in depth, but, watch out for the signs, and if it happens and, you're there for the process of your loved one, it's okay. It's okay to have feelings, it's okay to feel that way, because, even as a caregiver, I'm taking care of another person's family member. And I get like that too, when I see this resident day in and day out, and taking care of them and making sure that they're comfortable, throughout their life. And they, it could be a couple years, it could be a couple months, who knows, but I always make sure my residents are loved and taken care of. And that's the part of the profession that I want people to understand, is that, long-term care is good, and community care is good. And we have some amazing people that are out there that take care of our loved ones, and like myself. And, I want people to know that, long-term care and community care, there's some amazing people, and they do, I always call it God's work, because it's truly, it takes a special person to do what we do. Not everyone can do it. You got to have empathy right away. If you don't have empathy, nursing, I believe that nursing isn't the profession for you if you have no empathy, because you're taking care of another individual and their needs, and making sure that they're taken care of, on my shift. So empathy is huge. And I always tell the new people that I train that, making sure that you have empathy. And, every day that you're coming in, making sure that you're taking care of those residents' needs. And, if they need to go to the bathroom 50 times, that, you're providing that to them, and listening and listening and listening. You have to listen to your residents and what their needs are, and, what they're asking you to do. Anyways, guys, Until next time, Chris Orr, PSW, standing for personal support work, taking care of your elderly in long-term care. Until next time, cheers, guys.